Anyone who wishes to email any further comments to the school committee is welcome to do so. It is our practice that at least one member will acknowledge emails we receive to ensure folks are aware it has been received. If emails are received regarding items that are not under the school committee's purview, such as procedures surrounding student and staff safety, we cannot discuss or elaborate upon those items as they do not fall under our purview. The school committee is tasked with 4 major job duties: evaluating the superintendent, approving and monitoring the district budget, setting district-wide goals, and setting district-wide policy. There is a common misconception that policy is the same thing as procedure, which it is not. Policy, as defined by Mass General Law, is clear, concise statements that prescribe in general terms the organization and programs of the school district. The procedures that result from these policies are developed, implemented, and overseen directly by the superintendent and his administration. In case of recent events and concerns that have been generated from the public, questions center squarely around specific procedures and not around general district-wide policy. In keeping with all of this, I know that Dr. Sullivan is committed to meeting with anyone who may want to meet with him to discuss any procedures that exist at any of our schools, and that this would be the most appropriate avenue to talk about any concerns that fall under procedures. That being said, we will take any public comment beginning now. I will ask Ms. Jargan as the secretary to keep time, if you wouldn't mind. And you can let me know when somebody reaches 3 minutes, and also when we reach 20 minutes. But I'd ask you if you have anything.
Yes, I just want to elaborate on that. Our policy and procedures say that we cannot comment on anything you bring forward, but I want to make sure you understand that I value what you're saying, and I do want to be able to have conversations with you, obviously keeping in tune with the civil rights of all students and the confidentiality I have to hold, but I can go over our procedures and I can talk about your child or children and anything that you feel has impacted them that I can clarify and resolve. So I want to make sure you understand that I value what you're saying, and I say this as a team, and that I in no way our lack of response to what you're saying means an interest and our lack of interest in listening to you and trying to resolve what we can in regards to your concerns. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand that. But please make a meeting with me, and we have Principal Bishop here, we have our Assistant Superintendent Scalaro, and we'll be glad to meet with you to go over anything we can to help clarify any misconceptions that may have come from information received. I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we appreciate you understanding that we're working within our legal bounds as a school committee, and we also appreciate you just keeping in mind the requests of public comment. So if anybody wishes to address the committee, we invite you to step forward now to do so. Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to move on to our information. Dr. Sullivan, I'll turn it on over to you.
Well, I'll stand because I'm moving over here to show, but I just want to talk about some upcoming events. As we prepare for another school year, we have some really important introduction events that are open to all families. So this is really hot off the press, and we have a couple of principals here, so if there's some erroneous information, please let me know. These are good events to get to know, even if you're familiar with the culture here, to get to know our leaders and to really get a sense for what the school year promises for us. We do have an NHS Fall Sports Kickoff meeting. Do we know the date on that?
August 13th.
August 13th?
Yes.
Okay, so really hot off the press.
Yes.
We have our FBMS principal meet and greet is 5 to 7 on the 14th of August. We have our MHS Fall Sports beginning, football, golf, and cheerleading on the 15th. And you can see some other sports begin on the 18th. We have a bunch of kindergarten play-dates. If you have a kindergarten student coming in, one of the first is at Winslow. We have a kindergarten play-date from 9 to 11. I have a superintendent meet and greet where that's a place where I can talk about goals for the year, can listen to any concerns, and also talk about as much as I can about anything that's on your mind. That's 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon of the 20th, and then of course from 6 to 7 in case you couldn't make that. So that's a good chance, and I'll have some extended leadership members at that as well, to meet us and talk a little bit more with us. We have our Daniel Webster School New Family Tour at 10 o'clock on the 21st of August, and then our Governor Winslow School New Student Family Tour on the 25th of August. You can see it just continues with the 5 elementaries. We have South River on the 26th, kindergarten play date, and their new family welcome tour on the 26th. Daniel Webster play date, kindergarten that is, on the 26th. And we have FBMS medication drop-off, grade 6. Just kind of keep moving. We're going to put all this out, but I just want you to know about it. MHS freshman and parent orientation, you can read it up there. Our new family orientation for Ames Way, and it just really continues to our drop-in tours at FBMS on the 6th. And then we have Ames Way kindergarten play date and PK and elementary school meet and greet on the 2nd. And then I'm not sure, we didn't find out what the Martin play date was. Okay. When we get that, we'll get all that out. So these are great events that really introduce the district to new families and give families who have been here for a while a chance to hear more about the goals for the year and to talk about anything you'd like to talk about as we build for our next year. So it's an exciting time as we stop, get a little relaxation, but then build right into the next year and really get our priorities in order to do so. The next school committee meeting, we'll talk a little bit more about those priorities, as we do have our leadership retreat on the 4th and 5th of August, which includes the 5th being our extended leadership, which includes all of our department heads, our coordinators, many leaders from our elementary schools, coaches, and it's a really great event. So I wanted to mention that, and I should say on Chronicle tonight,
Yes.
we have an expose on a great collaboration between some of our teachers at Martinson, Mrs. McHugh and Miss Debbie, who have done great work with Proprietors Green through the years when we bring our seniors into our student population. It's been going on for many, many years. I had a couple of kids that played a part in that as they went through Martinson, and I'm excited to see that tonight as we highlight some of our amazing staff doing great work with our incredible kids. And it's a great community thing too. So that's tonight, 7 o'clock on Chronicle. 7:30? 7:30. So check that out.
We'll likely miss it, but I look forward to watching it.
Somebody's, but I think I have a feeling people might go.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Sullivan. Dr. Martin?
All right, so summer is not slow here. Our literacy coaches and our lab teachers have been working on implementation for another piece of our elementary reading program called All-Lab. What they're trying to do is put resources together for their colleagues so that it is much easier to implement in the fall. Our math coaches are working on some bridges assessments, making sure that those are in place for the fall. Principal Casey and I met with our coach and lead through Open Site Ed last week to continue the implementation of the science curriculum at the middle school. We want to make sure that all of our teachers are getting the proper training and that we are doing some learning walks with them next year. So we made some plans with them. And then you probably have heard that 3 out of 4 of our federal title grants have been frozen. So last year, those grants totaled about $80,000 and went for professional learning. They paid for a supplemental reading program. They paid for mentors for our new staff. And we also had a BLL grant. So those 3 grants have been frozen. So we have not heard any more. Title I numbers, we are still waiting to hear about the budget on those. Those have not been released yet. Those grant funds have not been frozen, we just don't have the numbers. So just an update on a few things.
Great. Thank you very much. Mrs. Sparrow?
So in addition to ensuring a successful U.S. spotlight program, this time of year is all about planning and preparation for next school year. So Our extended school year program is in its third week and going strong. This is Heroes Week, which is filled with activities. Special visit from Marshfield Fire on Thursday. Planning and preparation for 25-26 includes organizing grant applications to ensure they're aligned with student needs and district priorities, updating our related compliance trainings, about health, professional development, professional staff, identifying those key initiatives and special education grants that will come up through DESI for next year. Reviewing student support needs with building administrators and coordinating staff and service delivery for the upcoming school year. So it's been a very busy and productive summer so far, and I think next week progress, and looking forward to welcoming students and staff.
Great. I want to thank you very quickly for taking me around the extended school year program and showing me around and all the wonderful things that they're doing there. So thank you very much for that. Mr. Miller.
I have the majority of the agenda this evening, so I'll be real brief on one quick update. Budget, fiscal year 25, we are just about closing out. Not surprisingly, very little wiggle room. We did receive an additional supplemental circuit breaker payment of about $250,000 that came as a surprise at the end of June and was just paid to us early July that we could book for 25. And that actually is going to help us close out 25 and into 26. We're continuing to update fiscal 26, this coming school year, as we hire for vacancies, and once again, very, very little wiggle room on 26. And very shortly, we'll begin to talk for fiscal 27.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any subcommittee reports this time? Okay, seeing none, I recognize Mr. Raymond for the MEA's update.
I had something planned today, but I wanted to just speak as extended to you as I could, and highlight three things about elephant in the room. First thing I want to highlight for every year on here, tiny, over time, that everyone, is that I have seen this committee and these people here all of my colleagues do things for children and for each other that can be repeated and that cannot. Good thing. I want it said on the record as an association president at the time we were very good together that we have seen during COVID, we have seen this board for this board understand our concerns about staff safety when the vaccines were coming out of COVID. And I personally spoke out at one of these meetings as a resident of this town, asking you to reconsider sending everyone back for the second vaccination cycle. Now, I'm not here to adjudicate in hindsight how important that actually was. But at the time, you responded. And I need people behind me and on the television such as it is, and everyone that I work with to know that we all recognize that and we saw that was going to happen. What may be surprising, given what's going on right now, is that I've seen every single one of the people over here, every single one of the people over here, I have seen do things for children and for staff that I can repeat and that I cannot. Good things. They are capable of it. I have seen it, and we need people to understand that. I have seen every single one of them do things in my position as an association president, as a parent, as a teacher in this district that are immense good and sacrificial. And a lot of those things are the things that we cannot talk about. But I can say generally, and it is my duty to say generally, that they have done it. They are capable of doing it, and I believe that they will. Last thing I need to say from the association perspective, which again, that's why I'm here and that's why I'm speaking, is that the first priority in the mission statement of the Marshfield Education Association is not to hold a sign for any public interest group. It is to work for the welfare of children. That is something that we take extremely seriously, and it's something that you need to hear the executive officer of the association saying that we believe you take seriously, that we believe the administration has taken seriously. And when we have disagreements about these things, we are doing so in as much of a spirit of collaboration and amicable resolution as we possibly can. We have seen your body, we have seen this administration, we have seen parents behind me, teachers working every single day to do the good of being a public educator. No one in this room is doing this for massive sums of money. We are doing this because we believe in what we are doing. And when we have disagreements between people who have devoted their lives to public education, we need to be doing that in the spirit of resolution, collaboration, and transparency. And insofar as we have, let's keep doing so. But I needed to highlight for everyone, such as it is, listening to me. And I'm sorry if I'm not the most articulate person. I wish I was more articulate. You have done things that considered the dignity and safety of staff perhaps at political risk. These people have done the same. And it might, frankly, take off a very small percentage of people I represent to hear me say that they have. But nothing matters more than the welfare of children. Period. End of story. And it is not, as the last thing you said, and I'll shut up, it is not the exclusive responsibility or duty of administration, of school committee, or even individual teachers to work with that. It is the number one goal of this local association. And it is not playing around, it is not political, it's what we believe in. And insofar as we're having a moment right now, call it elephant in the room, we're having a moment right now. I'm telling you that if we focus on that together, we're going to work through it, we're going to make Marshfield Public Schools safer, we're going to make Marshfield Public Schools better for everyone. And I understand that right now, you're probably thinking, great speech, Ben, that's adorable. All I can do is make a speech right now. Give each other the time to work this out. We're committed to that. You need to understand that I've seen from you, I've seen from them, and that the number one goal of this local is not to do whatever the state union or the NEA tells it to do. It's to work for the welfare of children. And everyone behind me and everyone in front of me can see us do that. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Can I say something?
Please.
President Raymond, I appreciate that. I also want to add one thing to what you said. We've had a motto here at Marshfield Public Schools for years. It states, every student, every day, no matter what it takes. Everything we do should be in a collaborative spirit, but it also needs to preserve the dignity of the child. Above all else, this is written on the Ames Way walls. We must preserve the dignity of the child. And I will work tirelessly with the association to make sure that we collaborate and make sure that we're the safest district anywhere, but never at the expense of the dignity and the civil rights of our children. I had to make those things.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you both. I appreciate your care, your genuine care and passion for students. And I think when we're coming at an issue with all of that, I mean, the baseline is, do you care about kids? And I think everybody in this room cares about children. Every single person is here because you care about your children and you care about the children of Marshfield. Every single person. So with that spirit existing and with your kind words about recognizing our care for children, I am very confident that we'll be able to move forward in the same spirit of collaboration that we always had with the NBA and with our education. So thank you, Mr. Raymond. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. I look forward to the continuing conversations, and I know they will be productive, and I know they will be centered around students, as it always is in Marshfield. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move the meeting minutes to the end of the agenda. We have a couple of items on the agenda tonight. We're going to start with our old business, which Mr. Miller touched on at our last meeting. which is the Mill Creek Complex, voting to district that to South River Elementary School. I know this is a second read, as we heard it at our last meeting, but if anybody has any more questions, I know Mr. Miller is here to answer those. I don't know if you have anything to say as we enter into maybe.
I can just give a quick synopsis.
Please.
I can just give a quick synopsis of where we stand. I just have some numbers. Currently, there are 42 students at the first half of the complex that has already been built. 42 students that attend Martinson. So we anticipate about that same number of students moving into the new building, new construction that is set to open in end of August, and moving through probably March to a full closeout. I just wanted to add a couple of numbers. Martinson currently has ended the year with 448 students. South River ended the year with 275 students. So with anticipated 42 more students in that area moving in, we thought it best to, as those students move in to the district, that those students attend South River. I've already checked with our transportation provider if we can accomplish that signal-wise as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, Mr. Greer's made a motion to district the Mill Creek Complex to the South River Elementary School. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor of this proposal, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, that's 4-0-0. Ms. Mazursky. Thank you, Ms. Miller. Thank you. I'm going to continue to, well, you know what, we'll do the, so we're going to move the athletic fees, correct, to our next meeting?
We thought we needed to go through a subcommittee to really get
I agree with that.
more agreement with that. And then something needs to be socialized
Yep.
with the committee before the being brought to a vote.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. With the lack of a June meeting, this obviously feels a little rushed. The one point I did want to make is that that was in the action item was that athletics is last athletic fee increase was in 2018, and it's a significant deficit in our athletic program at this time. So we did address $100,000 in the operating budget for transportation, but there's another additional $100,000 that we would be looking to offset the fee increase. So I look forward to working with the committee on setting something up to the future meeting.
That's great. Thank you. Mr. Greer, yes? Yeah, I believe it would be you and Ms. Dargan, be that subcommittee. So the two of you can connect with Tom and Dr. Sullivan to set a meeting.
Yeah.
Awesome. But I do know that we have Mr. Battis here, and I don't want to make you stay longer than you need to. So if we want to talk about the athletic sports adoptions, we can go ahead and take that out of order, and then we will do the superintendent evaluation.
Thank you very much to the school committee and to the administration. We're very fortunate here at Marshfield High School. I know there's a lot of work we've done with our athletic fee and discussion about that. I agree with Mr. Greer about the superintendent. We've had a lot of things we've got to ask about registration because, not knowing what the registration fee will be, we've put registration on hold. So for our families, for our students, we just have to get that done as soon as we can. But it is a huge undertaking. I'm very fortunate to work and live here in Marshfield because our community's been unbelievable, supporting the schools, the arts, the athletics, education is just an amazing place to live, and no bias as a lived here for my entire life practically, but I'm very fortunate to be here and some understanding and work for all our families. We're very fortunate because even though our high school population in my time here in 32 years has gone down over 30 years, we still have great participation in athletics. I think 24, 25 school years saw over 71% of our students take part in at least one athletic event in Marshfield High School, which is great on an athletic team. And because of the interest, we've had students step up and actually want more opportunities. Our numbers certainly support in the fall JV boys golf team, Marshfield Country Club, Green Hopper Golf Course is great to us, as long as the use their facilities, really, from August to October, which has been fantastic. Our numbers really indicate we have over 30 last year we had 31 players right for the golf team. So we really like to keep as many players as we possibly can. But supporting a JV program, the JV coach will be outstanding. Right now we've had volunteers in the last 3 years. They're hard some of the teachers in high school, so that's been great. The last year, I think we're going to get in August, hopefully we talk about our unified track and field team, which got underway in the spring, and it was starting to eliminate to one of our meets, which was outstanding. The numbers again for student athletes have a unified track team is there, track and field team, and also because it was such a great interest, maybe the families would like to start a unified basketball program, which unified sports basketball runs in the fall. So we'd love to do that. We've already had some people step up and volunteer, both as unified partners and unified athletes. So I think that's definitely a spot that we can have. In our last one, we've been trying for a couple of years, even with Title IX variants, we have a girls golf team that again started last year. We had 12 female student athletes take part in the golf team, and we have 2 coaches that volunteered tonight. Marshfield High School did an outstanding job. That one was just growing as far as our girls golf team. At the end of the year, I did a survey. It was a certainly an informal survey, but we had the 12 girls that played for return because most of them were freshmen and maybe seniors on that girls golf team. We had an additional 4 players sign up, so we probably were the girls golf team when we were between 12 and 16 players. So I know it's a lot to ask in tough financial times, but I'd love to give our student athletes the opportunity to perform in JV boys golf, unified track and field, unified basketball, and girls golf in the spring if the committee and the administration gets forward.
Thank you. Questions, comments? You have a question?
Questions or comments about my content. So one thing I'd love to see, and it's up and coming in Massachusetts, is girls rugby. Among rugby groups, so I have no interest in it. So I was thinking maybe we want to add that in.
Absolutely.
I mean, if we approve it as a board, then you can trigger it anytime. You know, activities.
So I would love to add that then. I actually had a conversation with 2 girls in June about starting that. Girls rugby is a little different look into it. It's 77, so it makes it a little bit easier. You don't need as many players as you would from the boys team. The one thing I would say too is I just want people to make sure that we're fair about this. So if you're a female athlete and you wanted to play golf in the fall, you certainly can. We've had many girls play on a golf team in the fall. The girls' golf team is just designed for the spring season. That's why we kind of mixed that up and changed it up a little bit. But Mr. Grace point, we have 2 girls on the floor, they are running team this year. But I do think we have a girls' team. I think you're right. Get more female athletes that over and play rugby, and certainly put that on board would be great. I think have an information meeting sometime in October, November, see what the numbers are, and then the MIA, as you know, as you sit on the board, you usually have to kind of run it as a club for the first couple of seasons to make sure it's with last with holding and on last. And I think for all our programs, we've been able to kind of do that. We started with girls hockey years back, so with volleyball a few years back. You look at those programs right now, we started programs in Marshfield High School, and rugby, both golf, and unified track, and basketball, and it would be long lasting for our school. That's up to me.
Yeah, so I mentioned.
Go ahead. Yep.
Another thing, possibly girls wrestling, so they're not to compete with boys. Just a possibility. Also, I'd like to take a look at introducing sports as well as in the middle school. Rugby, wrestling, types of track. The wrestling team to get going with other schools locally to do that.
And as you and I had this conversation, we've had this conversation with our wrestling coaches in the high school about stepping down into middle school, because it is a great recruiting tool. Some sports like wrestling, like rugby, I think if you get them earlier, they're more likely to stay with it as they go and get into high school. So, wrestling can certainly be a good one type for us in middle school. One, because I do know there's middle school wrestling teams in the area that we can compete against. And 2, again, it would just be a great feeder program for for our JV and wrestling program at high school in wrestling.
Yeah, I think rugby would be good. When I played the grades behind the school.
Yeah.
Remember the holiday program we had?
Right, I do.
Very small stuff that when I was in sixth grade.
Yeah.
So 1978, and carrying over to the high school.
I think those
I
schools,
love that program.
you know, I don't bias, but I think middle school athletics or clubs is a great opportunity, just to be different, you know, having for our students to find something. Again, I'm biased. I think Marshfield High School has something for everyone. You know, as a freshman, you walk into Marshfield High School, clubs, the athletics, the teams, you know, just all the opportunities. Basically, it's now our job as the administrators and faculty members to guide them in those directions in which, you know, they have these different opportunities. There are so many different opportunities in high school, and I think as a student, you can take advantage of that, you know, as a freshman, and then follow it all the way through. And start that in middle school, and just give them a really, you know, happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drew. Any other questions, comments?
I just like to add, I definitely support Mr. Bass's proposal here. The Unified Athletics is already a funded sport. We did that several years ago. It just took a little while to get that rolling. And the costs associated with golf are the least of any sport that we have because it's coach and that's it. The golf is free from Marshfield Country Club
And bring up.
in Green Harbor, that's a golf club. So they tend to use our 14 passenger vans. There's no transportation, so it's definitely something that is very little expense that's going to provide a tremendous benefit for our students.
Awesome. Thank you.
Our girls also use the bus as well, the
Yep.
passenger bus, so transportation that doesn't happen at all.
Great.
Which is great.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here for that. Is there a motion to approve? Oh, yes. No, you can come up. That was very nice, James. You're totally welcome to vote. The motion would be to approve the addition of unified athletics, boys JV golf, and girls rugby to MHS athletic program offerings. So moved, Ms. Stetson, seconded by Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous as well. Thank you.
Thank you again for again, supporting the college, Marshall. You guys have been outstanding from day one. That's many years ago, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Betts. Much appreciated. Yeah, the next meeting we'll be discussing the fees, yes.
We'll discuss, and then the idea would be the next meeting we'll do it.
Right, exactly. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Betts. We'll see you very soon.
And I do think, sorry for speaking out of line, I was going to have unified coaches that we have some of our athletes at the next meeting.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Oh, yeah. And we also can determine if we take this year or next year.
Okay.
Since
Next year. Yeah.
We're going to discuss,
You're welcome to discuss that at the subcommittee level and then bring it forward for a discussion.
Yes, I think it's crucial we have understanding and agreement at the subcommittee level before we bring it forward to socialize it at the school committee level, and then hear public comment.
Right. And I know both you and Mrs. Dargan have expressed interest in that topic, so having it before your subcommittee, I think makes a lot of sense. Great. Okay. Next up is the superintendent evaluation update. I would like to just provide a quick update to folks. Before I begin, do you have anything you'd like to add? I know you provided us with a whole lot of information.
No, but I will provide, I did provide you with a thorough mid-cycle review, and
Yep.
I've added things for an end-of-cycle review.
Yep.
Document as part of the process, so I'll provide that for you and have that for you to be able to guide your evaluation.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure folks know what the evaluation consists of, because we haven't done one in a couple of years, because when you have a superintendent who is on their second contract as superintendent, you can move to a 2-year evaluative cycle. So the last time we did this huge summative evaluation was before you were even on the committee, and even then with Mr. Granatino, I believe at his last evaluation, he received all exemplary as his summative. So this is a process that I just want to give you a refresher on. There are a few different things that we are required to do in the evaluation of the superintendent. And I can provide a helpful document if anybody is looking for even more detailed information, it's about 40 pages long, where you can read all about the fun evaluation process of the superintendent. But so the superintendent is required every year to have at least one goal in the following 3 areas: district improvement, student learning, and professional practice. So we approved the superintendent's goals at a meeting earlier this year. It was actually 2024. We approved Dr. Sullivan's goals in those 3 areas. So it's up to us to evaluate on those goals that he's put forward in those 3 areas. There's a whole rubric that we are required to use from DESE that we use to rank that. Then there's 4 educational standards of educational leadership. The first is instructional leadership. The second is management and operations. The third is family and community engagement. And the fourth is professional culture. Each of those standards has sub-indicators underneath it. We do not have to do all of the indicators. There are 23 indicators, and that would be a massive evaluation. The superintendent is still, of course, people to adhering to all 23 of those indicators and looking to be successful in all 23. But it's up to us as the school committee to determine what MASC, Mass Association of School Committees, suggests 2 to 3 indicators per standard. So what's important is that as we go into the process of rating on these standards, that we're all rating the same indicators. So that Mr. Greer's not choosing these 2 under instructional leadership and Mrs. Dargan's not choosing these 2. You know what I mean? So I sent you all the rubric that had all the indicators. I hope you had a chance to take a look at it. Because I'm hoping we can discuss now which of the indicators we would like to use, 2 to 3 indicators per standard. And if anybody wants to begin the conversation, looks like you have something to say.
No, I thought we were
So I guess I'll go through it with you. If you're looking at standard 1, instructional leadership, you look at the first indicator would be 1A, which is curriculum. Are we evaluating on curriculum? And then you can see under those 4 standards, there are 4 different ratings that we can get. Exemplary is the best one, proficient, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory. This, by the way, is the same exact tool that all educators in Massachusetts are evaluating. So I see our principals at the front here are like, yeah, we know this rubric. So if we choose curriculum or instruction or assessment or evaluation or data-informed decision-making or student learning, those are our options. We need to choose at least 2. Ms. Stetson. Yep. Okay, I happen to agree with you. Ms. Dargan, any thoughts?
Data.
I do know that, don't you?
I would that one. Just looking at valuation. A little deeper for a second, but that has to be one of those things.
Do you have any thoughts? I welcome you to.
No, I didn't. I couldn't hear that last one.
so,
I just was looking at state evaluation and student learning.
Well, I mean, as you said, I'm holding to all the standards.
Yes.
I do agree. I think, making decisions around data and having that drive us as a district is crucial. And this will help me as I prepare a little more information for my end of year, which, and you all have my mid-year, which really outlined that 4x4 goals. And so that'll help. So, yeah, I whatever the committee wants, but I do like that focus on data.
And just where when we are moving through the program, what information do we have?
So Dr. Sullivan shared a document that had tons of pages with hyperlinks and all those sorts of things. That's the information that he provides that we can use. And of course, you also look back on the years on the school committee and look at the information we've discussed, the presentations we've heard, the questions that we've asked to not just Dr. Sullivan, but the team that reports to him. So there's a whole lot of different things that go into that evaluation. We use the data that he's provided to us, but you also use your judgment.
And once you tell me which ones you're focusing on, I'll obviously highlight more in those areas
Yes.
for you.
So there's
And then-
2 meetings
and-
left of this process. So at the next meeting, he's going to present us with more information, providing us specific information on what we determined today are the indicators we would like to use. I would like to say, Ms. Dargan, we are allowed to do 3 indicators for this standard if you feel that evaluation is important.
Will the student learning information that we're using be mostly data?
Most of what?
It's going to mostly be the data from the state assessment and stuff like that, right?
And remember, I spent a lot of time gathering qualitative and quantitative data. So the qualitative, I interviewed a lot of students and staff. I sent surveys out to the community. So all of that information gathers, and you actually can see it in some of my entry time materials already that it gives you information about the direction we're pushing.
Like I would tend to go towards environment and just, but I'm fine with it.
Right. Well, this is just under the first standard of instruction. So we're going to get to those absolutely need to be. But are you okay if we do 3?
What about the 3 again, just one?
That it would be evaluation,
Yeah.
data-informed decision making, and student learning. Okay, is there a consensus on that? We can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, support. Standard 2 is management and operations. And I'll go through each one of those in standard 2, which is 2A, environment. B is human resources management and development. C is scheduling and management information systems. D is law, ethics, and policies. And E is fiscal systems. Anybody feel strongly on any of these?
Fiscal system.
Fiscal systems, for Mrs. Dargan, okay? Environment is what I was going to say as well. Mr. Beard, I know you just said environment.
Environment determination and stuff like that also.
Okay,
If you have.
okay, we're welcome to do that. If you feel like we need a 3rd, we can evaluate on the 1st.
What a further.
Okay. Mr. Greer has posed to the board the inclusion of environment, fiscal systems, and human resources management and development. We feel okay with adding that there, I certainly. Okay, thank you, Mr. Greer. I will say too, where this is Dr. Sullivan's first year here, certainly the 6th year as a superintendent, is it your 6th, 7th?
It's my 6th year.
6th year as a superintendent, so I qualify that by saying that it's his first year here, so I'm okay with doing 3 indicators per standard, if folks would like.
Yeah, I'm used to every single standard.
Yeah, that's apparently used to evaluate on all 23, which is
Yeah,
not advisable.
No, I like this better, but I can.
What does MASC? I work with these. Standard 3, family and community engagement. 3A is engagement. 3B is sharing responsibility. 3C is communication. And 3D is family concerns. I would propose to the committee that communication and family concerns are the 2 that were standing out to me.
Big ones.
Yes. The 2 that I'd like to bring forward would be communications and family concerns.
I don't know if we can share responsibility.
Okay, if you'd like to do 3, we are welcome to do 3.
Check that.
She said sharing responsibility.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let's do those 3, sharing responsibility, communication, and family concerns. And then the last standard, standard 4, professional culture. 4A would be commitment to high standards. 4B would be cultural proficiency. 4C would be communications. 4D would be continuous learning. 4E would be shared vision. And 4F is managing conflict. Yep. I think managing conflict is a big one in that category. I think communication is big in every category, but that as well. I also felt like shared vision was an interesting one. I want to say with cultural proficiency, it just speaking on behalf of myself, not on the entire committee, But where you are willing to adhere to all of these standards, I think you've done a very nice job on cultural proficiency.
Well, thanks, and obviously, remember, and you may want to think about our strategic plan and what the strategic plan points us towards. I think you have hit a lot of that, but of course, that's guiding our work.
So does that mean there's one of these indicators that you believe pertains directly to our strategic plan?
Well, I think they all do, but when you mentioned cultural proficiency,
Yes.
Belonging is a pillar, and it's a huge part of our plan,
Yep.
and it's a huge focus of the strategic plan in the past year and the next year.
Yep.
So it is something, and it's a focus of my goals because of that. My goals are all focused on the strategic plan.
Yep.
And they actually mention the pillars of the strategic plan that was set for me. So really, I that's what I did. I picked up that, worked with the team.
Honestly, one thing, and this is, well, it's encouraging that in theater, each one can say, oh yeah, I know that that's happening, that's happening, but also some of the ones that I've heard less about, I'm interested in hearing more about now.
Yeah.
So
Right, it's just what-
that is so strong.
Well, like I said, all 23, whatever it is, standards I'm going to hit, but the strategic plan is pointing me in certain directions, as is my look at the district from a quantitative and qualitative point of view, where I'm gathering information to determine what the needs are, and that also points us as a team in a certain direction. So those are two factors that would really be the predominance of my evidence because it speaks to the needs of the district. So, I might be a little heavier on some of those other areas that I would be conflict, for instance. Right? I haven't had a lot of conflict with the moving forward in a cohesive, progressive way. I'm not saying no conflict, but that hasn't been a major focus because we've been moving in a certain direction based on our strategic plan.
So I feel like the sentiment of the committee, at least in what I'm hearing, is that we definitely agree on managing conflict. We definitely agree on communications. I mean, look, the guidance from MASC is just that, it's guidance. If we'd like to do 4, we can do 4 under this standard, but I would say if we're doing 3 and the others, we may want to just stick to 3. So does anybody have any thoughts on that? Okay, so managing conflict, communication, and then we just have to decide between shared vision or something else. Cultural proficiency. You like shared vision?
So one of the things that gets a little, remember in standard 3 we have communication,
Yep.
and in standard 4 there's communication.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So it's always it's an interesting conundrum in past years, the past 5 years of doing this, to discern between the two.
At the same time, so the descriptor of the indicator, so just so folks know, if you're looking at that rubric, that when you rate them on this, there's the words that describe their performance under each one, that's the descriptor. So the descriptor of the communications indicator in standard 3 family and community engagement does say engages in regular two-way culturally proficient communication if you receive a proficient. Right? So we could incorporate that into that discussion.
Can you read the other standard just so you know?
Sure, yep, so that
Because
would be that
you're
standard.
focusing me on 2 communication
In
elements.
communication of proficiency, in communications under standard 4, which is professional culture, would be demonstrates strong interpersonal, written, and verbal communication skills as evidenced by regular and informative outreach to staff, families, and community members, and the school committee in a manner that advances the work of the district, regularly seeks and considers feedback and decision.
So there are overlap elements. Just to say, if you ask my opinion, if you want to consider communication in one standard and another standard and something else, I think I probably did all of that in my communication evidence.
I do not disagree with that.
But it's totally up to you. If you'd like to break down communication in that specific way as the standard does, I'll certainly provide you with that evidence.
How do you feel about that, folks? Standard 4? Okay, so we can go back up to standard. Yeah, that's fine.
I can do both. I can give both. I'm just saying.
I
Okay, we can do it in both.
You
That is-
can't.
That is
I
not
just
a
want to
problem.
point out that you have been doing it both.
Yep.
I think focusing on collaboration.
Yep, yep.
Which you standard.
Yep, I'm totally more than comfortable keeping it in both, if folks can just do both. Okay. So we have three indicators for each of the 4 standards. I do want to mention a couple other quick things too on the evaluation of the superintendent. Those 3 goals that he's developed, I believe we had this discussion. No, you've got 4, right? Those 4 goals in those 3 areas that he's required to develop, they're supposed to be SMART goals, and we also have to evaluate whether or not he's achieved creating a SMART goal. And if the SMART goal is specific, is it measurable, is it achievable, is it results oriented, and is it timely? So those are the different things that we have to keep in mind throughout the evaluation process. Again, this is a two more meetings to this process. What is ultimately going to happen is after next meeting, when Dr. Sullivan presents all of this information on the indicators that we've chosen, I'm going to ask all of you to do some homework, which would be to rate him on these different things. So the SMART goals are rated on a different scale than the indicators. So the indicators, there's 1 of 4 different areas, like we said, and the SMART goals, there's actually 5. Exceeded, met, significant progress, some progress, or did not meet. And again, those 4 standards are rated either exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory. All of that comes together. So what's going to happen is you're going to make your ratings, and you're going to provide commentary where you feel necessary. So you can write out, you don't have to write it up for every single one if you don't choose to, but you can if you'd like to. I certainly will be writing something out, even if it's small for each one, noting where I believe the evidence is behind my rating. I will collect all of that from you. I'll aggregate this, so I'll collect all of the data, and then I'll put together the summative evaluation, which I'll present to you in a couple of meetings. So at the next meeting, I'll give you that homework, and then I'll ask you to have it to me by a certain date, and then I'll aggregate everything and have it ready to present to you the final summative evaluation at our final meeting, at the final meeting in this process. And then we give an overall summative rating, either exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, or in process, or unsatisfactory. Any questions on the evaluation process of the superintendent? Okay. So, it's a little bit of work ahead, which is fine. I propose that we continue to keep Dr. Sullivan on a 1-year evaluation for his 3-year contract here at Marshfield. And then once we have the discussions of future contracts, if and when that time comes, we can discuss at that point moving to a 2-year evaluation cycle. But at this point, that's very premature, and we'll be doing the 1-year cycle. So this will be a process that we complete annually, probably around the same time frame. So, anybody have any questions or comments before we move on to the next agenda item? Thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you, everybody, for staying and listening to what I'm sure is just a riveting explanation of the superintendent evaluation process. Okay. We have 3 minor agenda items left. We have the substitute rates. I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Miller.
Yes, this is an annual item in adjusting our substitute rates for the coming school year. On the draft provided, the only changes are an increase in the sub-teacher rate from $125 to $140 per day. That's to adjust that hourly rate versus some of our other hourly rates. And the adjustment of the 21st day, that 21st day for our long-term subs, that ties in with the contractual rate that Bachelor's 1 in our contract. So that changes every year as well. Those are the only 2 changes.
Great. Any questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Greer, you look like you have a question.
Yeah, I have the same comments that exactly. I'm concerned with recruiting and retention of some of these positions where one of them could go to first up.
Sorry, I missed it.
We'll do your rates.
Yeah.
No, I'm concerned with recruiting and retention. Right?
Recruiting and retention.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons for increasing the sub-teacher rate is it's become increasingly difficult to have substitute teachers. This would put us a little bit above some of our neighboring districts, which is a good thing. So that's very important to recruit as many substitutes as possibly can. So this year we agree.
Yeah, so, I mean, some of these that are at 18 and up, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't want to get into salary questions, but it is a regular one. And what is the need?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gradually, I mean, we moved them up, due to minimum wage, obviously. We've been bumping them, I think we bumped the majority of those last year, 16 to 18, and 18 to 20. Certainly look at that.
Yeah, is there an issue with finding people for those roles?
I think
And this will be the only time you hear me say increase the budget.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat as you. I will take a little bit of a closer look at some of these individual items with our building leadership, and if we need to adjust any of these due to a lack of not being able to recruit anybody for these positions, we can come back in the next school committee meeting with additional changes.
Great. Is it going to interrupt things for you in the hiring process if we was to take this
Not-
as a street?
It's a good question. I think it would be good to approve the sub-teacher rate.
Yep.
Just in this process, because as the other positions, we don't really actively recruit.
Okay.
But I think the sub-teacher rate, it would be good to approve it now, so as we move through August, we can get those bills.
Great. You agree?
I agree with that. You have the comparables in your
Yes.
packet. So really, there's not much more information for us to provide to you.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to know what the need is.
Yeah.
Right, so
But-
like, we would have to know if we're regularly short on sub-aides.
Do you want to ask our principals?
Yeah,
Are we regularly short on sub-aides?
we are, yes.
Especially there, we see,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's competitive, so it's hard.
Yes.
It's becoming harder and harder, to your point, to recruit and to retain.
So, Tom, when you take a look at this, when you come back with budget impact also,
Yeah.
it's not projected need.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the committee? Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the substitute rates as presented? So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. That's 400. Thank you very much. Next up, we have the building rental fee schedule. And that's again, Mr. Miller.
Yes, as we move into next school year, the two big problem areas as far as revolving accounts for the district this year were athletics and our building rental account as well. We are, as presented, we're looking to somewhat significantly increase our rates across the district. The last time the rates were changed was the 22-23 school year. As you can see, it's an increase in all rates across the district for all our facilities. Majority of them are about 100% increase, going from 25 to 50. But then in the upper categories, they're little smaller ticks, like the MHS gymnasium, for example, the large double gymnasium. 25 to 50 for Marshfield youth groups, 40 to 100 for nonprofit groups, and 300 to 400 for for-profit groups. So adjustments there. We're looking to build some revenue. Our building rental account several years ago used to pay for all our what I refer to as emergency overtime, custodial overtime, such as snow and ice, other type of emergencies. We run into the issue where we're not generating enough revenue, and we have a significant deficit in that account by the end of the year. So significant this year that we have begun to pay some of that custodial fee out of the operating budget, which we never had to do previously. So this hopefully would be able to generate a little bit more revenue so we can operate. If you think about it, some of these hourly rates probably don't even pay for the lights that are not in the classrooms, for example. This could be a first read, it could be an action. We could come back in August. We would like to get this as soon as possible for our groups that do start to book, primarily for the winter months as well. So if it was possible to approve this evening.
Some book out pretty far in advance.
Right.
So that,
We're already getting calls.
right, we want to be consistent with our.
Sure. And it would be good to let those groups know well in advance that it's going to be some consistent changes.
Any questions or comments on this proposal? Okay, ready to vote on this? Motion to approve the building rental rates, the facility rental rates as presented has been made by Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. Are we ready, folks? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining, that's unanimous as well. 4-0. Thank you.
I have a question. Which category do the high school sports teams, if it's if they want to have banquet there, or what category?
That is it's a school function, so there's no charge, but there is a custodial fee. Yeah. So it's category 1 and 0 for the rental, but down on the bottom you can see the custodial fees and food service charges as well. Those are being bumped up a little bit as well, just due to an increasing hourly rates.
Great. The final item on our agenda tonight is an exception. It is the acceptance of a grant from the Marshfield Education Foundation in the amount of $151,678.12, which is just unbelievable. I would love to have the NEF, our friends from the NEF, come into the future meeting and talk about these grants more at length.
Yeah, they did earlier.
I think it was the one.
Was it the meeting?
It was the meeting you looked at.
Wow.
Yes. They came in and presented the big check and we took a picture.
Ask them to do it again.
Yeah, no, we loved it. The grants were spectacular this year.
Right.
And the staff did a fabulous job at it.
That's awesome. Okay, so you all are going to enjoy it. Great. Any questions or comments on the acceptance of that grant? Okay, is there a motion to accept the grant from the Marshfield Education Foundation in the amount of $151,678.12? So moved, Mrs. Doherty. Is there a second? Second, Mrs. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. That's 4-0-0 there, Mrs. Thurston. We have a few sets of meeting minutes to approve. Let's look at May 27th, 2025. Give the committee another moment, but if you have any changes or comments, please. Motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented for the 27th of May has been made by Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from either one of them. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Thank you very much. We have meeting minutes from the 10th of June. Our retirees came. Motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented from the 10th of June has been made by Mrs. Darden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Greer. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained. It's one abstention. Thank you very much, Ms. Stetson.
Stetson abstained.
We have minutes from the executive session on the 10th of June. This would be a motion to approve and release. Motion to approve and release these meeting minutes has been made by Mrs. Dark. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Stetson. That's a roll call vote. Mrs. Pazerski.
Mrs. Dargan?
Yes.
Mrs. Stetson? Yes. Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes, thank you. That's 4-0-0. And then we have the executive session that was held on June 30th. We have minutes from that as well. This would also be a motion to approve and release. Motion to approve and release the executive session minutes from June 30th has been made by Mrs. Dargan. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Stetson. That's a roll call as well, Mrs. Pazerski.
Mrs. Dargan?
Yes.
Mrs. Stetson? Yes. Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes, that's 4-0-0 as well. Okay, that concludes the business before the school committee tonight. Our next scheduled meeting will be right here in this room on August 26th, which is just over a month. We are now officially in the summer for the school committee. And before you know it, we'll be back here getting ready for the start of the school year. So looking forward to that. And again, to those folks here, one more time reiterating how much we appreciate you being here, how much we appreciate your commitment to the safety and care of all students in Marshfield, especially the board and children. And that please, please, please make sure that you speak with Dr. Sullivan about scheduling a meeting. We absolutely invite you. Dr. Sullivan's committed to that. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
We would adjourn, social school for EDU, our social media partner.
Yes.
They sent me summary of the order, which is in your packet.
Okay.
I just wanted to tell you that they highlighted the most popular posts, and they said our 10 most popular posts of the quarter were 10 retirees.
Oh,
And the 2 most popular was Miss Hearn from the high school and Mr. Weiss from the high school.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Mrs. Stetson, is there a second? Second. Mrs. Dargan, will roll call that. Mrs. Pazerski.
Mrs. Dargan? Mrs. Stetson? Yes. Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great summer.